How do you know a thought is yours? Serious question though. The thought happened inside your head, therefore it belongs to you, right? You're probably wondering to yourself why the hell a random stranger is asking something so retarded. But stick with me a bit here.
Stop it. Get some help.
Well, our friend Lummeh here, just like all of y'all normies out there, used to think so. Not because she had studied consciousness or free will or any of those topics people bring up when they want to ruin dinner. She just assumed thoughts worked like breath. Automatic, private, hers. Then one day she was standing in a grocery store near the refrigerator aisle, staring at rows of oat milk, almond milk, whole milk, lactose-free milk, and all the other milks humanity had somehow agreed to tolerate. The lights above her buzzed quietly. The glass doors hummed. Someone's cart had a bad wheel that kept squeaking 3 aisles over. And then, without warning, a thought appeared. Cranberry milk might slap, right? Lummeh blinked. Now, most of y'all wouldn't think so, but Lummeh definitely did. No context, no reason, no childhood memory of cranberries, no deep emotional relationship with dairy. Just cranberry milk and how that might potentially slap. She stared at the milk section like the answer might already be sitting there next to the crusty ass liquid egg cartoons. Now, what the heck even is the point of those things? Anyways, it wasn't, obviously, because society still has limits, barriers, and obstacles. The thought faded almost immediately and Lummeh went about her day. She left the grocery store without buying cranberry juice and without buying milk. I mean, come on guys, the thought wasn't strange. People think strange things all the time. One second you're buying Greek yogurt. The next second you're wondering if worms know they're naked. Yeah, it's a process. That's just called being alive. What bothered Lummeh was not the thought itself, it was the feeling. The thought did not feel generated. It felt delivered. Like something had been placed gently into her mind and walked away before she could ask who sent it. Lummeh had to pause for a second because that thought process sounded mentally ill in a very modern way. Still, the question stayed. Not loudly, not dramatically. It just sat in the back of her mind, patient and uninvited. A few weeks later, she started noticing things. At first, small things. A video explaining a feeling she had never put into words. A stranger using the exact metaphor from her journal or diary thingy, whatever they call it these days. A post describing a fear she had only ever half admitted to herself at like 2:13 a.m. last night, or should I say last morning. At first it felt comforting, like the internet understood her. Like somewhere in the endless noise, someone had finally named a thing she couldn't name. Then it started happening too often. The internet did not just understand her, it anticipated her. It finished her emotional sentences before she could form them like a gaslighting ex. Then one night, while scrolling in bed, Lummeh saw an ad for a pink carton with no brand name. Just a smiling cartoon cranberry. Yeah, nothing creepy at all. Just a smiling cartoon cranberry floating in a glass of milk. Lummeh stopped breathing for a second. She stared at the screen. The ad pulsed softly in the dark. She had never searched it, never said it out loud, never typed it, never even joked about it to another human being. The thought had lived privately for exactly 3 weeks, and somehow the internet had found it. At first it felt like being understood, then it felt like being predicted, then it felt like being built. That word bothered her. Built. Because if something can build you, what exactly was there before? Think about that. Well, that is if you really want to. Anyways, for the next few days, Lummeh tried to act normal. She went to work. She answered emails. She drank water. She pretended drinking water counted as having her life together. But every time she opened her phone, she felt watched by something that did not have eyes.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Not watched like how a person watches you. Watched like how your phone just randomly starts tweaking in the middle of a conversation and says,
"Sorry, I didn't quite get that."
"Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I was not talking to you. Or was I?" Watched and controlled like how society just grooms us into being their pretty little minion cogs in this hellhole of a machine we live in. Okay, now calm down. Just went on a tangent there. One night, Lummeh found a thread online and the title said, "Do you ever get thoughts that feel imported?" Imported. Interesting word. This tickled Lummeh's feathers a bit. Like the thought had crossed a border, like it had arrived with a label. Lummeh clicked on the comment section. One comment read, "Human beings hear something enough times and eventually experience agreement as autonomy like little sheep." She read it twice. Another comment said, "Every personality eventually becomes performance if observed long enough." That one made her uncomfortable in a way she could not immediately explain. Then she saw it, buried between hundreds of comments. "Why don't we have some cranberry milk up in here?"
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Lummeh stared at the screen. There it was again. Not as an ad this time. Not as a product. As a person. Or at least something pretending to be one. What do you mean by that? The comment was not remarkable. I mean, it definitely was a good question as she had thought about this before. But the timing was shocking. Because now cranberry milk was no longer a random thought. It was a trail. Proof that her consciousness was connected to at least one other person. Then Lummeh noticed something small. The comment had been posted 3 weeks ago. The same week she had been in the grocery store. Her stomach tightened. She clicked the username. The profile loaded slowly. No picture, no bio, just a history of comments. Most of them were nonsense. Half jokes, half confessions. The kind of internet debris normies like y'all scroll past without remembering. Then she saw another comment from the same account, posted the night before the grocery store. "Cranberry milk might slap, right?" Lummeh stopped breathing. Not because the internet had stolen her thought, because suddenly that seemed too simple, too comforting. She had seen it before, maybe for half a second, maybe while half asleep, maybe while scrolling too fast to remember. The thought had not been planted in her by something outside her. Not exactly. It had entered quietly, disguised itself as random, waited, then returned wearing her voice. That was worse, because if a thought could pass through her unnoticed and still feel like hers, how many others had done the same? How much of Lummeh was memory? How much was residue? And yeah, sounds like we're getting a little too carried away here by just the thought of cranberry milk, and this was just a deja vu moment. Or maybe that is exactly what society wants us to think by planting all these thoughts into our minds. Anyways, Lummeh realized she had been asking the wrong question. The question was not, where do thoughts come from? The question was not, why did that thought appear? Because honestly, according to Lummeh, it was still a valid question. The question was not even, are my thoughts actually mine? A larger question had been forming underneath, quietly, patiently, like mold behind a wall of a stinky hoarder. Not whether the internet could read her mind, but whether her mind had ever been hers in the first place. People spend their entire lives trying to find themselves amidst all the noise, as if there is an original version waiting somewhere, untouched, unedited, pure. As if one day you can dig through the opinions, preferences, aesthetics, childhood wounds, internet jokes, heartbreaks, compliments, humiliations, songs, ads, parents, strangers. Are you done? Yeah. And eventually find the real you sitting underneath it all. But what if there is no original version? What if personality is accumulation? Language, memory, parents, love, loneliness, humiliation, algorithms. Influence layered on top of influence layered on top of influence. What if every part of you came from somewhere? I mean, we did not just spawn onto the earth, right? But seriously, where did your opinions come from? Your fears, your ambitions, your attractions, your jokes, your shame, your dreams, even the words currently forming your thoughts. Where did all of this come from? Lummeh stared at the ceiling that night. Her phone rested on her chest, still glowing faintly and pulsating, like that Cranberry Milk curtain ad. She suddenly could not remember whether her favorite color had been chosen or inherited. Did she like it because she liked it? Or because someone once told her it looked good on her? Or because a cartoon character wore it? Or because an algorithm kept placing it in front of her until preference started to feel like personality? The thought made her laugh, not because it was funny. Because what else do you do when your whole personality starts looking like a group project? For most of her life, Lummeh imagined identity as discovery. Like she was something buried, something waiting to be found. Now she wasn't so sure. Maybe identity was not discovery. Maybe identity was construction. Maybe she was not a hidden treasure. Maybe she was a collage, a receipt, a comment section, a grocery aisle, 1,000 invisible hands leaving fingerprints on your mind. And if everything about you was influenced by something, then who exactly are you? Lummeh looked back down at her phone. The screen refreshed by itself. A blank page loaded. No username, no caption, no product. Just 2 words glowing in the dark. Cranberry milk. The end.